Hello BookTube, welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and today I am ready to reveal my reading challenge for not only 2018, but 2019 and 2020. I am calling it my 20 by 20 challenge because it is a stacked reading challenge. It is a stack of 20 different categories, sections, lists, whatever you want to call them. And I am going to give myself until the end of 2020 to finish it. I got the idea from Sarah from Not Just Romance Novels. She was talking about this stacked reading challenge, and she left a link in her video. I will try to go back and find that video and find the link and link it here. There's a Goodreads group, I think it maybe is one of the romance readers groups, and they were using this stacked challenge as a way to finish series. Now, the original idea is to take just the series you want to finish and plug in different ones, starting with one that you only need one of, and then two, and then three, then four, then five, then six, and you can stack them as high or low as you want. And they are doing their challenge all within 1 year. I think the most that I saw anyone do for the year was 20. And I looked at their challenge, and basically each row in the stack was one series. So it's either a complete series or how many ever they have left to read in that series. So when I heard Sarah talking about this idea, and by the way, Sarah is doing a stack of 9 for this year, so be sure you check out her video, and I will link it down below as well. So I started thinking, oh, I have a lot of series to finish. I wonder if I could do that and stack my series. But my series are so... they're just so crazy. I have several that I still just have one to read, and I have some that, you know, are well over 20, and I didn't want to do a bigger than 20 stack. So I decided to kind of adapt it for my own needs, and now my stacks, or at least each row of my stack, some of them are series, specific series, some of them are categories, and some of them are other things, bookish. So I have a pretty good mix of stacks, and I want to share it with you. So I'm going to start with number 20 and work up to 1. And I do have some books pulled to show you just to kind of make it more interesting. To me, a BookTube video is not interesting really as much if it's just someone standing there talking. I like to see some books. So I won't probably give you much of a synopsis about any of these books, but please, if you are interested in finding out about them, comment below, look them up on Goodreads, you know, whatever it takes. I'm sure, you know, there are many ways you can find out what these are about. I will say that it's a mix of genres. Most of what I'm going to show you, in fact, I think just about all of what I'm going to show you today are fiction. And I really want to get back into reading more Christian fiction. Now, that's not all I'm reading, but you will see a good bit of that. And a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of romance, a little bit of humor, just a good mix. So let's get started. All right, so number 20 for my anchor stack on the bottom, I want to start 20 different series in the next 3 years. I already have a list made. I'm not going to tell you the list right now because I didn't pull those books, but I'm kind of using this one as more of a limit. So it's not 20 or more. It's I don't want to let myself start more than 20 new series over the next 3 years. Now, that does not include lists that I'm reading from that I have no control over, like the Sunshine State books and the Newbery winners and things like that. Those sometimes are first in series books, even sometimes farther in the series. So just because I read a book from one of those lists doesn't mean that I'm committing to that series. So I want to start 20 new series, no more than 20 new series over the course, not 20 per year, but over the course of the 3 years. Okay, then number 19. Number 19 is a list of series that are still being written that I have started. Some of them might be completed, but I'm not sure. So I have 9 adult series in particular that I already have listed. And then I have quite a few middle grade series, so I'm just going to choose at least 10 to continue. The Sunshine State list, like I said, a lot of those books end up being first in series, and some of them I'm interested in pursuing and some I'm just not. Just a couple of my favorites that are on the list. I really, really want to catch up with the Miss Julia series. It's still being written, and this is the next book I need to read, Miss Julia's Marvelous Makeover. So I have at least 5 now, I think, that I need to read. Then I also really want to catch up with the Elm Creek Quilt series by Jennifer Chiaverini. As of right now, I just have 2 more to read. She hasn't written any from this series lately. She's been reading other historical standalones, and so it shouldn't take me too much to catch up. I just have 2, and then maybe by the time I read these 2, she'll have a new one. So that would be awesome. And so those are a couple of the ones that I really, really want to catch up on. And then there's a few other series like that I've started recently, like the Cherry Cola Book Club. I didn't write any others down. The Cobbled Court series by Marie Bostwick. I've read 3 of those, and I want to continue those. The Cherry Cola Book Club is by Ashton Lee. And I have a few mystery series on here, but not cozy mysteries. In my world, cozy mysteries are a completely different entity. So some actual non-cozy mystery series that I'm reading are the Jane Whitefield series by Thomas Perry. Excuse me, losing my breath. Then the Navajo Mysteries by Tony Hillerman. I've read several of those, and I'd like to continue. And then there are 2 series by J.A. Jance that my husband and I are both reading. The J.P. Beaumont series and the Joanna Brady series. And they sort of go hand in hand. They have a couple of books in common, and then I noticed farther down in one of them, then some of her other series, she's got 2 other series, and then they have books in common with those. So we're going to end up reading all 4 of those series, but the J.P. Beaumont and the Joanna Brady are the 2 that we're most into right now. Then of the middle grade series, the one I can think of that I am most invested in, I can't find one now, is the, here it is the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series. I have the Third Wheel here. That's the next one I need to read. I just read Cabin Fever in December. Okay, so I want to make progress in 19 series. Then 18. I got this idea from one of my subscribers, and I meant to look it up and see who it was. It might be Two Boys Scrappin' that said they were going to do this, or it might be Cat Reads. But anyway, she was going to, this year, read 6 trilogies, which would total 18 books. So I thought that's a great idea. I have several trilogies that I want to read. In fact, I have almost 2 lists of 6, but I focused in on the 6 that I want to read, and I'll show them to you. I've got them right here. So one of the series is the Live Ship Traders by Robin Hobb. And then one of the series is the Homegrown series by Julie L. Cannon. I first learned about this series when I saw this on Book Outlet, Mater Biscuit. Who wouldn't get a book called Mater Biscuit? I sure would. And then the other 2 in the series. This is the first one, True Love and Homegrown Tomatoes. And then the third one is Those Pearly Gates. Those just look awesome. I think they are Christian fiction. Then I believe these are also Christian fiction. It's the Candlewood trilogy by Delia Parr, A Hearth and Candlewood, Refining Emma, and Where Love Dwells. I wanted to read those last year and didn't get to it. These are historical Christian fiction by Francine Rivers. This is the Mark of the Lion series. The first one is A Voice in the Wind, then An Echo in the Darkness, and As Sure as the Dawn. And I think I may be buddy reading these with Lisa from Lycan Books. We talked about it. We haven't set anything in stone yet, but I think we are going to read these, at least the first one. And then a series that I started several years ago. I'm going to start it over. It's by Lori Wick. It is the English Garden series. I have already read the proposal. I've listened to it on audio a couple of times, but I'm just going to start it over because it was so good. And the second book is The Rescue, and the third book is The Visitor. So those look good. Those are Christian fiction, I believe historical, not as far back in history as the Francine Rivers books. These go back to biblical times and like in the Roman Empire and all that. Okay, so those are, oh, and you might be counting. That's only 5. There is one middle grade series that I don't own. I already read the first one. It was one of the first books I read this year, and it's the Herdman Trilogy by Barbara Robinson. The first book is the Best Christmas Pageant Ever, and then there's 2 more, the Best School Ever and the Best Halloween Ever. So that is my 6th trilogy that I plan to read. And as of right now, I want to try to read these this year. I can get a couple of them on audio. The Live Ship Traders are on Hoopla. I believe the Francine Rivers ones are on Audible. And I already own 1 or 2 of these on audio, like on an old tape set. So, and the Herdmans are on Hoopla. So if I can get the majority of them on audio, I think I can read all 6 of those this year in 2018. And if I do that, then I might pick up some more trilogies for next year. Excuse me. Our something is going on. It's not the fire alarm. It's the cable, Fios or whatever it's called now. It's not even Fios anymore. I don't know. It's been beeping this morning. I think it's out. Okay, number 17. 17 completed YA or middle grade series that I've started. So they have finished being written as far as I know, but I have started reading them, and there are 17 of them, and I want to finish all of those series by the end of 2020. And I took a quick count, and that totals about 39 books in all 17 of those series that I need to read to finish those series. All right, number 16 is to read 16 nonfiction books per year. So for this one, I'm doing per year. And the same for 15. I want to read 15 big books per year. And by big books, that's 400 pages or more to meet the Big Books Challenge on Goodreads. And I believe, if I haven't yet, I think I've put in my number for this year. If I haven't, I need to do that. Okay, 14. I want to work on books from 14 different cozy mystery series. I have started all of those series. I want to read at least 1 from each of those series within this 3-year period. But on certain ones, I'm going to work to catch up with them or complete them if they're completed. I'm going to pick a few that I'm going to read more of, and then I want to at least read 1 of each. Okay, number 13. I am doing number 13. It'll be one particular series that happens to have exactly 13 books, and you can probably guess. I'm going to read the series of Unfortunate Events over the next 3 years, and I did listen to a theatrical audio version of this last year, but it was abridged, so I want to go back and just start the whole thing from print and read these over the 3 years. And then number 12, I want to read at least 12 Christmas-themed books per year. Most of those will be in December, but as you guys know, I'm still reading Christmas books right now in January, so I have no problem doing that. Or anytime during the year, really. Okay, number 11 is my Grace Livingston Hill project revisited. I had said last year I wanted to try to read 1 book a month to just start rereading all the Grace Livingston Hill books. There are 100, and I only read 1. So what I decided to do, just having that 1 out there kind of bothers me. So I want to read, for number 11, I want to read 11 Grace Livingston Hill books over the next 3 years while I'm catching up with all these other series. And then by the end of 2020, I will have read 12 of them, and then I'll start fresh then with book 13 and go forward from there. So Grace Livingston Hill is my number 11. Then number 10, that will be my collected authors I've never read. I want to at least read over the course of 3 years 10 of my collected authors I've never read. I have about 20 left. I read 12 last year. And the reason I'm going to go ahead and stretch that one out is because a lot of those are going to mean starting series, and I don't want to start 10 new series by these authors all in 1 year. I know I said number 20 was going to be starting series, but again, that's over the course of 3 years. So 10 of, some of these are cozy mysteries. Some of these are just other types of series. So overall, 10 collected authors. And I will probably do a separate video of that just to give you an update. and by collected authors, I mean that I own 4 books by each author, and I've never read any of them. Okay, number 9, I want to read at least 9 books that are kid-related, either kid detectives or children's classics, something like that. And I don't mean like children's storybooks or anything like that. I mean things like Little Women. I have been wanting to reread Little Women and then go on and read the rest of the series. So I have Little Men and Joe's Boys. So I would like to reread these. I mean, that's just one possibility. If I want to read a Nancy Drew or Happy Hollister's book, then those are some of the books that I have in mind for that challenge. Then number 8 is to read the 8 standalone, well, actually, one of them is not really standalone, but the 8 fiction books that I had on my definite TBR for 2017. I didn't get them read, and I'm carrying them over to this year. So I want to read all 8 of those. Only one of them is a library book. The rest of them I have here. Pigtopia by Kitty Fitzgerald. The Perfect Elizabeth by Libby Schmays. Spindle's End by Robin McKinley. The House at Riverton by Kate Morton. And Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. The Annotated Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I have, of course, read The Hobbit, but I want to read that annotated version. And then one I am reading right now that I carried over from Christmas. Jen from Remembered Reads, here it is, A Very Merry Christmas by Sylvia Hyson. I keep mentioning her because she said she loves that cover so much she wants me to just keep holding it up even after I finish it. So anyway, oh, and then the last one is called Ember Flame by Casey Browning. That is a library book that I need to get. Okay, number 7 is to finish 7 adult series that are finished being written that I've started reading and that I need to finish, obviously. Okay, so those series, now I say they've been finished. To my knowledge, they have been they are completed. I don't know absolutely for certain, but to my knowledge they are. So where did I put them? Thought I had them right here. Here we go. Nope, that's my cozies. Okay. The Harmony series by Jody Thomas. I've only read one of those, and there are 9 of those. And then I love books with harmony in the title, or the series title. The Harmony series by Philip Gulley. I've only read 3 of them, and there are 8, including the novellas. Thrush Green by Miss Reed. I've only read 1. I'm going to join the Thrush Green read-along that somebody is doing on BookTube. I can't think. I haven't joined it yet, but if I could find it, I'll link that. I want to finish the Brides of the West series by Laura Copeland. I've read 2, and there are 6. And I want to finish the Welcome to Tyler series that is published by Harlequin. It has multiple authors. There were 12 of these, and I've read 2. And I do not own the Yellow Rose trilogy by Lori Wick. I've read 2 of those, and there are 3. Obviously, it's a trilogy. And the Left Behind series. I've read 6 of them, or I have 6 left. I don't know. I don't know my notes here. Of the Left Behind series by Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins. So I'd like to finish all 7 of those series by the end of 2020. I have read a total of 18 books from those series altogether, which means I need to read 47 more books to total 65 books. Like if you added up all of those 7 series, it's a total of 65 books, and I still have 47 left to read. So that is my number 7. It's 7 adult series that I've started reading that I want to finish. Number 6 is Impulse Reads. See right here, Impulse Reads. I am going to allow myself to just grab any old book off the shelf that I feel like reading, and that is per year. I will allow myself 6 per year with no guilt of that I'm ignoring my TBR. And number 5 is my reading lists. Okay, so there are several lists of books that I read from, actually 5 to be exact, and I have no control over what those books are going to be. They may be the beginning of series or anything like that, and I'm still going to allow myself to read them without feeling like I have to read the rest of the series. So the first one is the Sunshine State Young Reader Award finalists. And in fact, you will see some of those on my February TBR, because I'm going to finish in February reading the ones I still need to read for this school year. Our library book club is 12 books a year. I've already read 4 of them for this year's 12, so I don't have too many to read. Then our mystery book club that we just started a few months ago at our local library, and I put in parentheses, if it lasts. So far, it's had a hard time taking off. We've only had a couple people at each meeting, and if it doesn't last, then I've got an alternate, a couple of alternates actually, but before I get to those, my other 2 are Newbery winners. I have a goal in life to read, the phone is gonna fall, the cat, one of my kitties is, she did pretty good. I was afraid she was gonna knock the camera down, but she didn't. I have a goal to read all Newbery winners, and so I will continue to read some of those as I feel like, and I don't have a specific number goal, but that is a list I can't control. And then the Book One Cozies Club is a cozy mystery book club that is hosted by Di from Di Says 19 Hearts, and for that club we only read first in series, and I may not read all of them, but if one comes up that is something that I'm really interested in reading or that's on my TBR, then I will read it, and it will not count towards my 4 that I've already picked that I want to read. Which is coming. You haven't heard about that one yet. That's number 4. So, and then also Courtney from The Cortagonist also started a Cozy Mystery Book Club. So if her group picks something that I definitely want to read, then I may join in there. But those are my alternates. Well, that's one of my alternate groups. The other alternate group is the Florida Teen Reads. So if the Mystery Book Club doesn't pan out, then I've got either the Florida Teen Reads or Courtney's Cozy Book Club. I forget, that's not the actual name of it, to make up my 5 lists, so that I will be reading from 5 lists. Okay, number 4, start no more than 4 Cozy Mystery series per year. And I'll show you the 4 that I'm planning to start this year. Then each year I will, oh, excuse me a minute, I dropped one. Each year I will let myself start 4 more, as long as I'm still finishing some and working towards the other ones. Then I have so many on my shelf that I really do. And in fact, 3 of these 4 I can get on audio, so that's exciting. The first one is The Last Will and Testament. It's the Haunted Yarn Shop Mystery by Molly McRae. Molly friended me on Facebook after I participated in a Cozy Mystery readathon on Facebook, and I told her I had a copy of this book but I hadn't read it, and she goes, "Oh, let me know when you read it. Let me know what you think." And then she friended me, so I'm like, okay, I gotta read it now. And then I want to start the Monk series by Lee Goldberg, and then the Crochet Mystery series by Betty Hechtman. That's not the first one, and neither was the Monk one. I just grabbed one off the shelf. This, I think, is the first one. This is the Someday Quilts mystery series by Claire O'Donoghue. This first one is called The Lover's Knot. Each of the titles of these are a quilt pattern. Okay, and was that 4? Yeah, that was 4. So those are the 4 that I want to start, and then next year I'll pick another 4 and so forth. Okay, number 3 is 3 series that I want to read from start to finish. I haven't decided if I want to try to read all of these in 1 year or if I want to stretch them out and maybe read 1 series per year, but I've got them right here. The first one has 4 books in the series. This is the Piggly Wiggly series by Robert Dalby. Waltzing at the Piggly Wiggly, Kissing Babies at the Piggly Wiggly, the Piggly Wiggly Wedding, and the Piggly Wiggly Christmas. So if I could read these this year and, then get to the last one at Christmas time, that would be ideal. Then I have a 5-book series by Lori Copeland and Angela Hunt. This is the Heavenly Days series. I believe this is a Christian series. I think I have these. No, here we go. I want to give them to you in the right order. The Island of Heavenly Days, Grace in Autumn. Aren't these covers pretty? A Warmth in Winter, A Perfect Love, and Hearts at Home. So that is a 5-book series. Then I have already started the Kingdom Keepers. I want to read, probably since I've started, I'm rereading the first 2. This is the series that I will finish this year. I might just go ahead and do them all. I don't know. Disney After Dark is the first one. And it, by the way, it used to just be called Kingdom Keepers. And then eventually they added this subtitle when they decided to, you know, make a bigger series. Disney at Dawn. Disney in Shadow, Power Play, Shell Game, Dark Passage, and The Insider. There's also a novella that comes after this. I think it's called Syndrome. That's a fantasy series that takes place in Disney World, and it is about some kids who are hosts. They're hologram hosts. They're real people, but they are also holograms, and it's a fun series. So that's my, that is my 3 series that I want to read from start to finish. Okay, number 2. I really only have 2 auto-read, auto-buy, everything authors, and they are Fannie Flagg and Jan Karon. Now, I've read all the Jan Karon books except this companion book, the Mitford Bedside Companion. I've got to read it, and actually there's a couple of other companion books, a cookbook and stuff like that. She came out with a new book from this Mitford series just right towards the end of last year. And so I got it, and I have not read it. So I am going to definitely be reading this ASAP. And, excuse me while I pick up another one that I dropped. If she comes out with any more books in the next 3 years, I guarantee I will be getting them and planning to read them. The other author is Fannie Flagg, and I'm completely caught up on Fannie Flagg. So if she comes out with any more new books in this 3-year period, or anytime, I will definitely buy them and I will read them. So you're probably wondering what number 1 is. Number 1, I got this idea from Krista from BooksandJams. She did a non-bookish goals video not too long ago, and she said, well, one of them is kind of bookish, and her goal was to read the Bible this year in 1 year. Well, I have no confidence in my ability to read the Bible in 1 year. I have read the Bible from cover to cover only one time in my life that I know of, and I think I would remember, and it took me several years, and I didn't really do it simultaneously, faithfully. I mean, I would kind of do it in fits and spurts, and I don't even remember how long it took me. But I have tried with hopes, you know, earlier in my life to try to read it in 1 year, and I just couldn't keep up. So I looked up how many chapters are in the Bible, and there are, I believe, 1,189, and I divided that out by 3 years or 36 months, and it turns out that I would need to read 1 chapter a day in 3 years. To get this done in 3 years, with a couple of exceptions. I would need to pick 1 month out of each year to read 2 chapters, because there's a few left over. And since I haven't started yet, I plan to start February 1st, and so I've already missed a month. 2 months in 2018, I need to read 2 chapters a day, or basically read, 30 extra chapters, however I want to do it. I know back when I was younger, when I read the Bible, there was a portion of Genesis that I just sped through, the story of Joseph, and there's several chapters there that it's just such a fantastic story that, I just read through it like a novel. It was so good. So, there's going to be times like that when I won't have any trouble catching up. So that is my number 1 goal, and I didn't pull out a Bible. Here, I'll pull one out. To read the whole Bible between now and the end of 2020, and I can do this. Basically, a chapter or 2 per day is very doable in my life, and I don't feel as much pressure that way, because if I tried to read 3 or 4 chapters or whatever it would take to read it in a year, I'm gonna stress out about it. I'm gonna try too hard. I just won't enjoy it, and it just wouldn't be a good experience. So I think I have good confidence with the Lord's help that I can meet that goal and all of these other goals. So so that's it. What do you think? What do you think of my 20 by 20 stacked challenge? Well, I'm almost out of space on my phone here, so I better wrap this up. I didn't mean for it to go 30 minutes, but it just about has. That is my challenge. I will try to link everything down below that I said I would, and I might give you a periodic update maybe at the end of each year and let you know how many of my stacks I finished by the end of the year and all that kind of stuff. So that's all I have for this video. I hope you are having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.